Hmm?
And from the pictures I've seen, Canada looks cold. So I
Hmm.
will assume that Big Sky Country is also cold, correct?
Freezing, yeah.
When you get there, how much snow?
Well, my
None.
none for
None for you
well, none for
too.
me. Yeah, I got there in 4th of July,
Mm,
and I remember it was 4th of July because President Trump had visited, and there was a sign. Did I ever tell you this story? There
Yeah.
was a sign right as soon as I came in the town. It said, "Welcome, Mr. President," and that was my nickname in high school. So it was amazing. I was like, "Wow, these people are so nice. What a great town." So, but yeah, my first snow though. All the people at the church was like, "Oh, you're gonna die, ha ha ha! You're a Southern boy, you're gonna die, ha ha ha!" And then that winter, we got 6 feet of accumulated snow, which is usually unheard of. Usually, the wind comes and blows and melts it. 6 feet, negative 30 for like a month straight. It was absolutely awful. It was terrible, and I had essentially summer tires and a rear wheel truck, so I was ice skating every time I drove because they don't use salt; they use gravel.
Hmm.
So you're just on this thick of just pure ice driving. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
because compacted snow is basically ice.
Yep.
It
fun.
does get warm in Montana. Some people don't know that. It does get hot in the summer and you can get in the water,
It feels
but
good.
it's only maybe three-ish, four-ish months out of the year.
That's on a
So
good year.
yeah.
Right. Makes sense. So it's cold most of
Hmm.
the time.
Hmm.
Like Montana seems like a neat place. Uh, Things are pretty far apart though, correct?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Big state, not a lot of people, a lot of driving to get from here to there. What's the
Hmm.
speed limit?
Ooh, fast.
Fast. It's like 80, but you can go 100. Ain't no cops out there. You let
Right.
her
Really not.
Nice. Good to know. For Joseph Benton, no cops.
No cops let her. Hey, you get pulled over. The tickets are so cheap. They're like, I kid you not. This happened one time. Me and Katelyn, I went to visit for a holiday, and I flew out of Charleston because it was cheaper. That's one negative thing is flights are so expensive going in and out of Montana because there's not a lot of airports and they're not very big. So I flew into like Bozeman and Bozeman's like 3 hours from Great Falls, and I flew into Charleston. So she was driving me to Charleston, and she got pulled over. And I don't think you were going that fast. It was like 10 over, maybe 15 over, not much, not compared to Montana, I guess. But then I got pulled over that same night, and it was like I was on a two-lane highway, and it was nighttime, so the limit went down to 60. Well, usually I go 85 through there, so I was just going 85. It was late. I wanted to get home. And so this state trooper pulls me over and it's like, I'm going to reduce your speed down to 15 and gave me a ticket. It was $26. I'm not even making that up. And her,
Wow.
I can't even remember how much it was. It was crazy,
Probably at least
at
200 or
least
something.
200, but mine was like 26. I was like, absolutely, officer, thank you. And then I just kept speeding. It was great.
Good. We just talked about negative incentives the other day in my economics class. That sounds like it's not a good one. Speed,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's
Not when
cost
you don't know.
$26.
Yeah.
I like it. Good story. All right, so Montana, nice. Joseph, you've been there a while. Caitlin, not as long. Caitlin, how long did it take you before you're like, yeah, we're not staying here?
Oh, that's a great question. Joseph said it took like 24 hours.
Yeah. First snowflake hit. That's pretty. I'm ready to leave. That was you. You were ready to get out of there.
Well, it is really different from South Carolina. Like we barely get snow and everything shuts down
Mhm.
and you stay at home and the dusting that we get is melted by noon. Not in Montana. They don't care. You're going to school, you're going to work. There's no 2 hour delay, like nothing. Life is normal, life per usual.
It's just snow.
It's just snow. Yeah, and I guess life goes on.
They could put that on the license plate. It's just snow.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So while Joseph's doing whatever, you decide to make the move. You move to North Carolina. Uh, where are you living now?
Now we live in Waynesville, about 30 minutes west of Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay. And Asheville, of course. Who knows when people will watch this, if anybody ever watches this, we'll see. Um, this is right after the hurricane.
Yeah.
It's mountains, like right after. Like I saw, oh, they live in North Carolina. Oh, I hope everything's okay.
Yeah.
Uh, what was that like as you went through the home buying process and that big move cross country?
So, um, yeah, that was a little scary because I remember people in Montana don't really know anything about hurricanes. So when they were like, "Oh, didn't you say you're moving to North Carolina?" And I was like, "Yeah," they were saying like, "Oh, well, hurricane's supposed to hit there," and I was like, "Oh, hurricanes don't hit that part of North Carolina. Like, it's fine."
People flee to this part
Yeah,
to get
people,
away
yeah.
from it.
So, and they were just like they just couldn't comprehend. Like they thought, "Oh, the Carolinas they get hurricanes." But I was like, I just kept saying like this part doesn't get it, this part doesn't get it. And then I remember a few days later, we're seeing all these, the news and Facebook is like just full of all these photos and talking about, there's no cell service, these towns have been destroyed.
No water, no power.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's where we're supposed to be moving. And we his grandparents knew the neighbors, so we were trying to get a hold of them,
Because this is their house.
yeah, yeah, this was their vacation home that we bought.
And we're buying, yeah.
So they were trying to call them to make sure they were okay and then also say, hey, while you're there, how's the house? And it took a while to get a hold of them, but they were like, everything's a-okay, just got really windy and I think they lost power, but thankfully our house is still here because we already sold our house in Montana. We stayed in it a couple of days after closing and
to
then
finish packing,
yeah,
yeah.
and then hit the road and took us what 4 days to get here.
Yeah, we were going with the old people, my grandparents, and they gotta go to the bathroom all the time. It was a long process. I'd liked it to have been a lot quicker, but we made it.
I don't think it would have been any quicker because we
What?
drove like 9 hours like every day,
Yeah.
eight or
It's a
nine.
lot of time in a car, a lot of time in a moving truck for sure. All right, so a couple things to revisit. Number one, what's the importance of relationships? You mentioned Miss Fleming. Uh, how important are those relationships?
Super important.
Super important. I'd say so. I mean, to me, I found my basis of the importance of relationships from early college. Mr. Serbo was a big inspiration on that as well, because I did Project System, which I don't think she does that anymore, but we did that when I was going through, and that was a big deal for me. That really fired me up for politics. I mean, I did a lot of different stuff with city council, and I knew a lot of bigwigs, not bragging or anything, but I knew a lot of people and that really taught me to keep those connections. And I still use that in my job now, forming connections and different things. So, and back to Miss Fleming, I called her Aunt Candy. She was like an aunt to me. I mean, she was like family. Same to you. Always could go to her office, always could talk to her. And she went to our wedding.
It's also good for just asking for advice too, because
Absolutely.
they have a lot more experience as far as life, and they can probably give some good advice too. She actually talked to me about um, doing dental assisting first, and that was good. That was good to dental assisting is a lot slower pace than dental hygiene school is. So you kind of get more of the baseline at a little bit slower pace to just learn the basics before you just taught about it for 5 minutes in dental hygiene school and expect to know it the next 5 minutes. So that was a good that definitely helped me out.
Makes sense. And I would imagine at most regular schools, those kind of conversations, while they may happen some,
Yeah.
those kind of conversations are happening with just about everybody uh, in every class.
Mm-hmm.
And so that has to be huge. You mentioned she came to your wedding as well. Not a lot of people I know invite principals to their wedding, uh, but that just speaks to the person that she is.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about faith. Joseph, you moved to Montana.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long way.